question. We are currently in the process of redefining competencies in doing OD. So what are the competencies that have best served you?
What I've learned, again, didn't start out this way, but what I've learned is that what serves me well is most of all curiosity. If I'm not curious about what's going on out there in a client system, then I get nowhere. If I come in to sell something, that doesn't work right off the bat. So curiosity and caring to be helpful. You have to want to be helpful. And then training yourself to inquire and observe and think about what's really going on. And in that regard, I think listening skills is a very broad concept. And in my new book, I will be refining it to, let's say a client comes to me and says, I have an engagement problem with my employees. I want them to be more engaged. I'm worried about it. Now I have a choice of how I listen by either saying, tell me more about the engagement problem, which is the situation, or I could say, why are you worried about this? And in our listening programs, we never differentiate. Should we be listening to the person, or should we listen for the situational problem? So that's a brand new skill that I'm beginning to think hard about. Because we always have this choice. I can ask you about the Philippines, or I can ask you about yourself. And it makes a huge difference which direction we take the listening and the interest and the curiosity.
What do you believe has been your contribution to the field over the years? I mean, for me, process consultation, I live it. But what do you see as your major contribution to the world of change?
I think what I have contributed most is through my writing describing what works and what doesn't work. I think we all believe we know how things should be, but somebody has to go out and observe how things really are and has to then document for other people what they see. So I think the whole field is still at the Darwinian stage. We're still out there observing how the different species work and who does what and how evolution occurs. And I think I have been helpful in saying to the world, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's keep an open mind, let's observe, and let's describe what we observe, and let's keep learning. I think we are evolving, and I'm learning something new every day, and I will learn how OD works in the Philippines and how it works in Thailand, and I or somebody will have to write that down instead of jumping to the conclusion that, oh good, they're doing it now in the Philippines, but what they're actually doing, we don't have any idea until we go observe or they observe themselves and write about it. So being an author and writing and describing clinically what's out there is maybe what I have contributed most.
This is our last question. How about the Drucker? He has said that the culture is a strategy for lunch. And why culture is important in your perspective?
Well, I am very glad that Drucker did say that culture eats strategy for lunch. Because I certainly believe that, and it goes back to your earlier question of how does one create culture. Once a group has formed around a leader, then everything they do, their external management and their internal relationships, is their culture. So when they say, what should be our strategy for the future, they can only do that from the point of view that they have already acquired. So a consultant came into Digital Equipment Corporation and said, you people are working on the wrong products. If you want to survive, you should really do turnkey products instead of all these innovative things. And the people in digital said, we know all that, but that's not us. We are not a company that produces junky, turnkey products. We are innovators. And so the culture of digital rejected what all the consultants were saying to them, even to the point of being willing to go out of business rather than change their culture. So strategy from an outside point of view can often be totally different from what the insiders can imagine themselves doing. The culture is the identity we've built. It's our personality. So don't tell us suddenly to be something different, even if it makes economic sense. Lots of companies go out of business because their culture says we don't want to do that. We want to be who we have become so far, and that's what we want to continue to be. The only way those organizations get changed is when a turnaround manager comes in from the outside and fires all the culture carriers, usually the top 2 tiers of the people. Then you can say, okay, a new culture is beginning with new managers. But the old culture never changed strategy independent of what it itself could do. Culture is like the group's skeleton. It's the most stable part of the group, and therefore it's the most likely to want to be consistent.
We learned a lot from this interview, Dr. Schein. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. I am very happy to have been able to talk to you.